Hello, this is the last video out of the series that we have published in relation to youth matters within African Australian communities. In this last video, the attendees of the forum talk about the recommendations. It's really interesting because when we did the forum, we didn't just want to talk about the issues. We also wanted to focus on the positive things that are happening within the community that need to be acknowledged and canvassed out there, because it's not just about the negative and the things that are not working. So we also asked the attendant to make some recommendations in relation to how some of the issues that have been identified can be addressed. So it's quite interesting last bit, which goes for about 20 minutes. And we hope you've enjoyed the whole series. Please continue to send us your feedback. And, you can do that through our website. Just under every video, there is an option to leave feedback. Please do. Or you can do that through our Facebook page. And continue to circulate our videos. We ask you to share these videos with your friends and families, because that's how the news about AMA will be spread and more people will know about what we are doing and even be able to contribute to what we are bringing into the community. I will let you watch this and I'll see you on the other side of the video.
You don't let what other people think about you stop you. You keep going and you keep fighting, like someone said. So use every good thing and every bad thing as an avenue to better yourself. And the more good that we do, even though we don't do it just so that, Australians approve of what we're doing, it just makes yourself better. They can see it, even if they don't acknowledge it. It's like you're good at something and no one can ever take that away from you. So you just need to keep fighting and don't let anything stop you. And I know it's important that we're a big part of a community, but then we're doing it and no one can take that away from us. It's like education, you learn it. And even if you don't get a job, you just keep going and no one will take that away from you. It's not something that anyone can take. So yeah, don't let that go down.
I was thinking that the government should hold more events for Africans, or with Australians, so they can join in with other people, meet people, and for music or for sport, hold music lessons, free music lessons, because some people can't afford, so that's why they don't do it. So with music and sport, it's another way for people to meet other people, learn new skills. So yeah.
Okay. But I want someone to answer to the question specifically that I asked. It's something that can be done on a community level to trying to sort of capture the talent and walk people through.
What I think is we need to have more leaders, more African leaders. People need to rise up. There's other ways. People need to have, let's say, the entrepreneurial spirit. People can try to rise up, start even a company, try to recruit some new talent. And people need to be more initiative, try to initiate things,
yes.
Trying to rise up and do something, and not just wait things to be done for us. People can rise up, become entrepreneurs, and do something.
Okay, yeah. Being creative and entrepreneurial, which can help. Yeah, the girls at the back. Talking of music, there's a lot of talent, for instance, already in the African community about music. There are even people who have started some production companies. I've got this friend here who's helping us with the camera, but he's got a production company that is put together to help people, do music and stuff. But how do we, for instance, from him, he's having a bit of issue to try to expand that. How can the community work with people like him and others who may have those ideas to assist them to get to the next stage where they can recruit even more and attract more investment or resources for the initiatives that they have?
We need to be careful when we're using words such as the community, the leaders, the people, because it can be very easy to start projecting onto these kind of imaginary nouns, which actually result in nothing. Because the community, when you're using these words, when you're saying the community, when you're saying the leaders, you're not focusing on what the actual outcome is going to be. You're kind of imagining that someone else is going to deal with these ideas that you're wanting to see actualize. The reality is that projects such as, an art, music group, a sport group only happens when one or two people make the decision, they have the time and they have the energy to drive it, and they know who to go to ask questions about how it can be facilitated. That's the reality of how things happen. It's not by discussions like this, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. After the discussion, people have got to step up and trying to knock at doors and push things, and I guess that's what's often lacking within our communities. There's a level of aggressiveness in a positive sense that is needed, where people say, no, we want things to change and we'll make them change. We're putting the structure together, we'll go forward and trying to push things forward.
We have to really say, this is what we can do. We can actually facilitate our own projects without you giving us the money to do so. Because if we can't show them the skills that we have already, I don't think that it's possible. And I know the Women's Circus works with language and circus skills, and I've worked with them in the third term, and I volunteered last term, and luckily we've got this coming term again, but there's just not enough. I even asked myself, who do I talk to get the funding to be able to facilitate? Because there's people with the skills, and I exist with the skills, at least just me. I can try and find 2 more people, and it's networking. It keeps coming down to networking.
Comes back to networking. Yeah, there's that need to connect people to something. It's okay to raise an issue and put it out there, and then what happens after that, unless people come together in some ways. Even people don't have to be united in a global sense. They can be united on issues. If people have interest in sport, they link to trying to promote the sport without necessarily being part of one organization. So we're getting to the end of this forum, but I want to ask you to summarize it. In a sense, I want you, if we say we have to have 4 recommendations based on all these discussions that we've had here, what would be your 4 recommendations? 4, not more. All right, we'll start with Gima.
Don't expect me to tell you 4 of them. I'm going to tell you only one.
One, okay, at least so we start from somewhere.
Let me start by saying that congratulations, Clyde and your crew. You've done a really, really great job. Yes. You brought all these people together, especially the young people. Within this forum, we have seen how many potential leaders are within here, within this little room. Yes. So, which means this kind of forum is really, really important. You've taken the initiative to organize this, but is there any possibility that we can continue doing this? Because all these young people listen to their ideas. I was impressed. I know they're really good. I know so many young people who are really brilliant, but when you hear all of them coming with this beautiful idea, there is not an avenue for these young people to come together like this and discuss the issue that affects their life. So is there any possibility that we can look at in a large scale where it also involves prominent figures in African communities? We have a lot of academicians or whatever you call. If we can bring them together and discuss about, it's just like a boomerang. Whatever we are talking is just coming back to us. All right? We have to be the first people to do, to step forward and try to do something within our communities. So I would only say, can we please have this kind of forums in the future that can bring more young people and more, other Africans who can actually come up with a good idea.
On what Gurma was saying, maybe have so if you do organize, when you do organize in the next forum.
You organize the one.
When we organize the next forum, let's actually have this thing called the World Cafe, where you actually put up on a poster certain issues, and it's this idea that you unite people on issues and get them working on it straight after the forum.
Yes.
So the whole forum becomes, okay, introductions, blah, blah, blah. All right, these are the number of issues in the community. Go and sit with your group based on the issue that you're passionate about. And then your task for that 2 hours is to actually start up something to work on that issue. I think that would definitely be a good thing. Another good thing, targeting the issue of music and sports would be to have events actually competitions, run competitions as much as possible, even start off with once a year. Like let's have our own Olympic Games or something like that, where we actually get to see the talent all united under one space once a year, something like that.
No, if I had my way, what I would recommend as well was, because we have all these people that are actually doing something good with their lives, we have to actually look at other people that are not doing nothing with their lives as well. Like a lot of kids are outside there just drinking every time or getting into trouble, going to prison. I think we need to focus on that even more. I think we need to focus on the bad side as well, because if we can clean the bad one, everybody else will be all right. Everybody else will go fly freely, you know?
Okay.
The only recommendation I can give is more people like my brother here said, like there's many potential leaders here. Like one of the things we should do is people who are here, like they have some ideas, so that they should do it. They shouldn't just try to wait. Thanks for this forum. Like it's organizing many people around here, people coming share ideas. Like they shouldn't wait for someone out there to come and try to do something. Some people are here who've got some good ideas, stand up, trying to do it, and expand it.
All right.
In terms of employment, like there are those, like when I came into this country, I kind of made a whole lot of connections with some of those recruitment agencies, and sometimes they come to me looking for people who I can present to them to get jobs. So, and there's another thing with the Nigerian Society of Victoria that they did, which was good. I think the city of Dandenong kind of advertised a particular role, so they placed it on the website for anyone within the community to apply for. Yeah, so if we can do something like that, and individually, like if certain opportunities come up, we can have an avenue to say, okay, look, there's this thing somewhere, who can you bring, like on a wider base now, which African can fall in? Because like you mentioned about the Indians,
yes,
one comes in, the next day is like, and we Africans, we compete on the same level. I work in IT. We compete on the same level, but we don't have Africans in there. So if that avenue is there, like if an opportunity comes up, if you don't know somebody, speak to someone, maybe like Clyde, say, look, we got this opportunity. Let's build ourselves in those positions.
I might sound a bit weird, but I think racism has actually made us part of what we are today, because racism against us makes us stronger people. I go to work every day and I want to outdo myself because I think of racism every day. So I think racism has, in so many ways, made us what we are today. One thing I actually want to see us do as time goes on for the forum is not really to center on racism and things like that. I want a situation whereby we could use forums like this to educate young people, to bring people who made it in different fields of life, because many people think you can't make it in Australia. Like there are some fields people think you can't actually venture into as an African. So there's possibility of us bringing all those people who have actually succeeded in those fields we think people can't get into, and get them to speak to our young people and get them motivated, I think will go a long way to making Australian Africans better people. And also, one thing else I wanted to say is, I believe so much in self-promotion. If we want to be better people, we have to promote ourselves. Just like he's the sound technician, you have to go out there, you have to talk about what you do, you have to get people to get on board, because Australia is too busy, we're all too busy, we're looking for money every day. Nobody has time for extra curriculum activities. So if you're out there promoting yourself, you're going to get everybody on board. It's just like AMA. We've been struggling to get everybody to like us and support what we're doing. I think you actually have to be out there to promote yourself before anybody can come along and promote you. Sorry, I don't want to take much of your time.
I would like first to say thank you and congratulate you people for this forum. A lot of has been said, and I think it's gonna help people, especially African, being here. What I can say as a recommendation, the first one, at the next forum, at the next organization, if each one of us were here, if we can bring 1 or 2 people, so that the class or the forum will be a bit full, because the information is very good and it can be helpful to everybody. Secondly, I would like to say, as African being here, we don't have to complain and stick on what has been saying beyond our door. we have to consider ourselves as ambassador of our people wherever we are, so that we can show to people our skills, our value, and what we can do, and this can help us to compete everywhere we are.
But I'm encouraging other people from today on to take this initiative through your program and promote it. And next time we can have even or a dinner together or professional or discussion where some people that are really more experienced in the industry can present what they have learned, how did they actually get there, and this can actually motivate other young people coming up and learn, and
One famous Middle Eastern doctor, Dr. Ibrahim al-Faqih, has said, which is, don't think the world is behind you, but rather think you're sitting backwards on your seat. So let's not think the world is going against us, but let's think that we need to put our seat forward and move forward.
I do a lot of camping. Even on Monday to Thursday, I will be in something called dog sex camping. I would like many Africans to take time out of Melbourne, go to the camp, and do some activities together. You know, if we encourage that, in my opinion, is socialization. You come to know people whom you never met before. And also, as a sportsman, I have run through sport for like 17 years. If we rely on Australian system to be professional athlete, we're not going to get athletes. You know, I started running before I became a professional basketballer, but it's through my friends, my community members. Here in Melbourne for the last 12 years before I came to Australia, we run our own basketball, but at the moment, I train more than 24 and 7 of them are playing in college in America. The only way they have learned to be monitored, be scouted on within our community, we hired, we played ourselves in a very tiny place, but later on, you guys expose yourself. Before we openly go to public, maybe behind back doors, try something ourselves. Try something ourselves. That's the same thing with singers. Even in big communities like in America, all good singers, they start somewhere before the public known. So I would like communities, especially tiny communities, to practice something together before they openly come out.
Absolutely. My opinion for a recommendation would probably be because many Africans have talents, either singing, dancing, or playing sport. So, but because they can't afford putting their children to do sports, so I think that they should, you should start making competitions and stuff. Like running events, sprinting, high jump, and everything. Thanks.
All right, good. Brilliant. That's a future leader. He's already identified that people want to play sport, but there's no money to afford doing that. So it's a future leader. Watch out. We at the end of our forum, we apologize. We've gone over 20, half an hour basically. I first want to thank you for taking the time. We know one of the things here is that people are so busy, and sometimes we wonder why this is happening. People actually enjoy being busy, even if the busyness is not leading to anywhere. But I suppose, that's the train of life here in Australia. If you're not busy, something is wrong, isn't it? But then in that busyness, we should find a way to prioritize some of the things. When, for instance, there's a need to come together to address issues in the community, that has to be on the top of the priority list. And I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank one person specifically. Thank you, Talas, for all the work that has been done. And I also want to thank all the rest of the AMA staff and everyone here who's put together the effort. I think and I'll conclude now, the theme that I'm getting here can be summarized into pretty much 2 things. Networking, because a whole lot of all these things that have been said here will go into that. We need to have network that will enable people to come together either on issues based on some sort of mechanisms to bring energy, to bring thought, to bring dedication together to push things forward. And that actually ties in very well with what we have in plan as part of AMA. When we started AMA, it wasn't just about talking about our stories, positive stories. That was the initial thing, but then what happens after that? You know, after we talked about our stories, what are we doing ourselves to continue to push the agenda? Because we have to have an agenda, otherwise someone will find an agenda for us. And it is important for us to push that agenda. So behind this, and I can definitely tell you that we will continue this. We're going to be putting a network together, and I'm happy that it's actually coming from the rest of the people here. So there's a lot that we can gain in becoming part of a much wider network. So if you want to be able to do that, to be part of that network, if you want this sort of thing to continue, you know, help to pay the little price. And that, when I say pay the price, it has nothing to do with money. There's something to do with some dedication, some commitment in time to say, okay, I can do this thing to help put this event together. It's good that, you know, the Melbourne area has given us this place for free, even though we're initially prepared to pay for it. They've given it for free. So once people are stepping up, opportunities will come to make things happen. So, but you've got to go out there and don't just speak. You remember how we said here, a lot of people are good at talking about the good things that we need to do, but it's what happens after that. How do we go about doing that? So please put your name on the list if you want to not only be part of the network we're going to be putting together, and second, to volunteer for more forums, which will take different forms. It may not necessarily be, you know, I like the idea that Daniel has just mentioned about maybe the next one, we already have 4 or 5 issues. We want to, you know, segment people into those issues and start already, you know, getting ideas around how we can push forward. And that way we'll move forward. It could also be camping, you know, that's fine. It could be dinner, somebody mentioned that. We invite people on any, who have some expertise on some level and bring them into a dinner. You have some conversation, motivational talking. That's very important, because a lot of people, you know, don't believe they can do it until someone push them behind. You can do it. You know, it's not just about what people know, but they need to be encouraged into doing that. So, having said all of that, please keep visiting AMA for more of the stories that we'll be putting together, and all that news about the network that will come from this as part of the recommendation. And we'll continue the story. We'll continue to highlight many of the things that you've said here. On that note, I say thank you very much and hope to see you next time again.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed this last of the 4 videos that we have now published. So we hope you enjoyed the whole series. If you watched all of them, if you haven't, we encourage you to watch all 4 videos, because it actually does canvas very good discussions on issues, as well as the good things that are happening within our community, and how we can go about looking at some of the solutions that we could apply as a community, and work together with the government services and non-government services and all other actors that contribute to addressing some of the youth issues that happen within the community. As usual, send us your feedback either through our website or on Facebook, and we'd love to hear from you. If you can contribute to AMA in any way, you can make a donation. You can also be part of the team if you have any skills in media, or you want to be involved at some level. Please write to us. The address is info@africamediaaustralia.com. Until next time, God bless you.
Nabaki pungu misato pona yebi olinga kabanya malwemba ye Zwa pecha puyo na lakisie maloba ya boliko alobela kayo na absence nanga ada Kombole
très fort les boss
Soki ex lava